Hello, hello, here is Agi again. And if you like what you see in this video, then please subscribe on YouTube and click that little bell next to it so you can get notifications when the next video or radio show comes out. You're gonna love it, and so will we. Thank you. First, let's step out of the box again. I want to talk about an old concept that is called what is God? And in some circles, that probably would be more favorably understood if we say, who is God? You see, in the old days, especially from maybe 1692 years ago, or about 1400 years ago, and some of you will understand the numbers that I mentioned, what they represent. Back then, the religious leaders, they had to personalize this concept of God so it'll be better understood by the ignorant masses. If they had started to talk about energies to those people, they wouldn't have gone over too well. They wouldn't have understood. So then again, this personalized image of God, of course, it had to be a man. We know that back then. And of course, also in the Western world, he had to be white. We know that too. And of course, yeah, we have hopefully outgrown that one, except for maybe a few ignorant people still hanging around. Now, the concept of God actually have been given a meaning it was never meant to have, because it come from all the way back into the Anunnakis and the Sumerians, which in the old Anunnaki and the Sumerian languages, it meant great leader. So let that one sink in for a little bit, because it wasn't meant one from up there, probably is what they led us to believe, that control and run everything. Well, it was a great leader, so it was misrepresented by religions in order to control people. And I had an incredible experience several years ago where the universe was explained to me. In there, I saw the concepts of it. And I interpreted those concepts in succession of how it was shown to me. And in there was an understanding that came out of it. And I went back now in my mind and I dug that out and I have it. So I think I can explain what this concept means to me and a lot of other people that understand quantum mechanics and the spiritual science, which it's going to be a term that will come out shortly, and it will be easily understood. See, my interpretation of this concept is there is a universal intelligence behind everything that you see and experience and encounter around you in this universe. This universal intelligence creates the science behind and which expresses itself through the manifested structure we see in our universe all around us. And that is God. Now, this universal intelligent source of all things expresses itself in different ways for the purpose of ease of communication or understanding by the one that is receiving the impression. That could be, let's say that you keep running into 1111 all the time. That could be an indication that there someone or something is trying to impose a higher understanding that it's not just random everything, there's a structure to it. Or it could be that, I remember one guy told me there was a white dove that came and landed on the hood of his car and sat there and looked at him when they had a spiritual discussion with him and his wife. I have a hard time thinking that was just a coincidence. Another one is my co-host on the broadcast Team Alpha show. She have feathers falling out of the sky inside her home, and there's no birds in the house. She finds feathers. She have a crock half full of feathers that is found inside her home, and she doesn't have any birds. Explain that one. These may be indications that we are meant to understand a little more than what we see every day around us. Another thing is that guides and spiritual entities that are around us, they may help to deliver those messages, but it still comes from the source, because those spiritual entities are just a tool of the source, which help you to gain higher understanding and more spiritual capacity. So that's really all I wanted to say about it. And if you missed that middle part here, go back and run it again. And I think it'll sink in the second time. I had to write it down and read it about 6 or 5, 7 times before I actually could get the red thread to go through from the beginning to the end of that understanding. So it is not easy to understand. Anyway, that was it for this time. See you in the next video.